let's win this game. SKOL Vikings, let's win this game. SKOL Vikings, honor your name. Go get that first down, then get a touchdown. Rock 'em, sock 'em, fight, 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 fight. Go Vikings, run out the score. You hear us yell for more. V-I-K-I-N-G-S. SKOL Vikings, let's go.
Oh, you have to have your first round pick start right away. Hammer likey.
Viking Nation, prepare to enter Valhalla with the most entertaining podcast of the Minnesota Vikings. And now, Odin's Den with A-Train and the Hammer.
Oh, baby, we're back. It's May 22nd. The summer is rolling. It's getting hot outside, and it's warm in the studio as well.
Hey, Train, how the hell are you?
Doing pretty good. Got to get your little quote out of the way, don't you, over there?
Yeah, I feel great now, just because I said that.
Otherwise, you would have been sweating bullets and not knowing what to say.
I would have been completely lost. Always have to say that right away. Then I'm good.
We should get some GPS then, some podcast GPS, so you never get lost again. That is your podcast GPS, just blurting
yes,
out.
Sir.
How the hell
No,
are
that's Hammer calibrating.
Oh,
when I
okay.
say that right away, that's Hammer aligning himself and becoming ready for the podcast.
The pod fart, if you will. Welcome to Odin's Den. This is episode 129. We've almost done 130 of these. That's how many calories
Wow, where does the time go?
that are in ramen noodles. No, I don't know.
I still remember that first ever episode.
I don't. What
Oh,
do you
you
mean?
don't, huh?
What do you mean you remember the first episode? You remember what you said on it?
Bits and pieces, yeah.
That's so strange to me. It's not even funny. I
No,
have
you
no
remember-
clue what I said fucking last week.
Well, that
last
first ever episode,
No
what I
clue.
remember best about it was when it was breaking right then as we were recording that the Vikings had signed Andrew Sendejo to a 4-year contract, and I was like, what? Then I saw the money per year wasn't all that bad and everything, so I was more okay with it. But
Then you were like,
Hammer likey. That's what I remember about the first episode more than anything else.
I couldn't point out a specific detail like that at all. I mean, it was 5 years ago, man. I mean, it was 2016?
You're not able to remember like one little thing you said 5 years ago? Come on, A-Train.
Depends on what it was and how memorable it was.
Too
So,
true.
there you go. All right, well, welcome to the episode. This is the A-Train. That's the Hammer. This is Odin's Den. We're going to try to keep you up to date today and cover all these draft picks. We're finally doing another Saturday episode like back of the day. It's May 22nd. And, let's go ahead and get into the news.
Purple Pain first.
Purple Pain. You're right. See, I'm already rusty. It's only been a month and I'm already
See, I
rusty.
calibrated right away at the top of the episode, and you didn't. So as a result, Hammer is very on top of things, and the A-Train is somewhat lagging. And now everyone that's listening is kind of laughing at you, but I'll try to help you out here and keep you on the straight and narrow.
I'm never really truly calibrated. Keep it up and you'll get turd of the week. Keep it up over there, asshole.
Purple
right.
Pain Forums is the place to be.
That's where you were on draft day, typing away in your keys, laughing up a storm.
Well, on day one, yeah. Yeah, day one, I was logged into the Purple Pain Forums. Always love being there. I would have been there for day two, except I was watching the draft day two with Big B, a mutual friend of ours.
Who's a huge draft fan, by the way. Huge draft, way bigger than me.
Well, he's willing to watch day two of the draft if he's with company. Like
if he gets pizza
around
or,
me.
Yeah,
like if he has food there and everything,
Free
then he's
food.
okay with it. But yeah, our buddy Big B, he's not a huge draft guy. Mm-hmm. He's a Rams fan. But
his favorite team changes every other week.
Yeah,
and I know he's not going to listen to this, so I can say that.
Well, if he hadn't been there watching it with me, I would have been on Purple Pain for day two also.
Well, you should have done it anyway.
Yeah, people
Jerk.
need to join purplepainforums.com and just shut up already.
Yeah. Just shut up. Especially
Yeah.
if you're a Packer fan. Just shut up. You idiot. God, I can't wait till that idiot's gone.
Okay, I wasn't telling everyone to shut up. I was just kidding. But but for real, join purplepainforums.com.
Yep, that's Hammer's genuine endorsement and mine as well. purplepainforums.com. You can clack your keys with other Vikings fans, yell at somebody, make a new friend, maybe find a new grilling partner. Who knows? Trade some pizza secrets across the internet. And the other shout out. What's the other shout out if you're so cool with the fucking memory and the shout outs, Hammer?
The Vikings Gazette.
That's right.
I calibrated it,
VG, baby. TVG. The Vikings Gazette.
Yeah, check out that Vikings Gazette.
VikingsGazette.com. That's GAZETTE. 2 T's. JEFFJARRETTGF Jarrett.
You are going to be grilling me this whole episode trying to poke a hole in the armor, and I can tell you right now I am on my game today, baby.
I'm sure there's an Achilles heel there somewhere.
You just keep trying to find it, sir.
All right.
You just keep trying to find that A-train. We'll see how that goes.
You vicious bastards!
All right.
Love that drop.
All right. Yes. So let's go ahead and get into the news.
Back from battle with a Vikings update.
All right. So the lead story coming off of this last month would be the legendary Jerry Burns.
R.I.P. Jerry Burns.
Yes.
He was the first head coach of the Vikings that I can remember.
Yeah, because he was, like you said, he was right before Denny Green. When I was trying to remember where he fit in the timeline, like you said, he was late 80s, early 90s. I probably didn't really start kind of checking it out till the Denny Green era, too. So I don't really remember Jerry, like, with my own eyes on TV, stuff like that. So
Okay, well, I think I am a year older than you are also.
That too.
I'm 39 right now. I'm going to turn 40 in July. But
old-ass motherfucker.
yeah, when I was, 5 years old, whatever, I mean, he was the first head coach I remember seeing on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
And as a little kid, I just thought it was funny because he looked so old. I would just laugh at him just for looking old.
Wow, what a jerk.
I was 5
Hammer's
years
a
old.
jerk, everybody. Jeez.
I was 5 years old. Oh, my dad just loved that guy.
Yeah.
And later on, I found out it was just because of how filthy mouthed he was in like press conferences and everything. My dad loved that shit.
Oh, we should have had some of his legendary conference pulled up here for the podcast.
Well, I'm sure we can. There's plenty of drop material in some of those. I mean, I know you had to have seen the famous Jerry Burns press conference where he was just dropping F-bombs left and right, and he was more pissed off than anything. And keep in mind, that was after a win.
Right.
That was after an overtime win
right.
against the Rams. And he was pissed.
Let's see here. I think I have a little bit here. Let's see if this is. I think this is it.
Oh, you're playing a little segment of that
Yeah.
interview right now?
Yep.
Okay.
The guy feel like shit afterwards. What?
Or something that happened today, or just
Yeah, he felt like shit afterwards. Everybody booing the shit out of him, but he worked his ass off. And no smarter coordinator in football. Fuck, they put his picture up there and the fuckers boo him. Fuckers.
I love the last little fucker as he just walks off the stage. That is, yeah, that's like after a win too. I mean, that's really goes to show you how mad he was with, I'm assuming, the people asking the questions he was getting asked, just those reporters in the newsroom type thing, just being fucking stupid essentially,
Well,
and him just not being in the mood.
I mean, watching that press guy, I felt that some of the questions from the reporters actually were pretty fair questions, actually. I believe he was defending Bob Schnelker in that clip you played. He was the offensive coordinator for the Vikings at the time. Oh, wow.
Fantastic.
That's great stuff. I mean, it was things like that turned out it was why my dad loved the guy so much. I just knew my dad loved him, so I mean, and I thought he was funny just because he looked old and goofy. But
no nonsense, man. Passionate, tells it like it is, not afraid to just let her rip. I like that a lot about a person.
Well, he was definitely a football guy. He famously didn't care about players off the field so much. He wanted to talk football, and that was it.
Right. I don't give a shit how you're spending Thanksgiving with your family. I want you to run these drills.
I mean, they were telling the story on, I believe it was it was either Power Trip or 9 to Noon. I forget which show it was, but they were telling the story about how the entire team was planning an intervention with Tommy Kramer.
Yeah. With
his alcoholism, and Jerry Burns didn't care, didn't want to be around it. Like, I don't care. This isn't football. So that's just who he was. R.I.P. Jerry Burns.
No doubt.
The first coach I remember watching as a kid, and you will be missed.
All right. So what else do we have for news besides going off the free agent pickups?
Well, the Mike Hughes trade.
Yes, you're right. We traded the cornerback Mike Hughes and a 2022 7th-round pick to the Kansas City Chiefs in exchange for a 2022 6th-round pick. So we lost a guy and a pick and got a pick.
Well, essentially we gave him to the Chiefs to upgrade from a 7th-round pick to a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
I don't get this trade, really. I mean, with the whole Jeff Gladney situation where we might end up cutting him because of his legal trouble, I don't understand why we wouldn't just give Mike Hughes one more chance. We had him under contract this year. It's the last year of his rookie deal. I don't know why we wouldn't give him one last chance to try to stay healthy. And I mean, especially with, maybe being a little thin at the corner position.
Right.
If we had upgraded from like a 2nd-round pick to a 1st-round pick, like if we had 2 1st-rounders instead of a 1st and a 2nd, I'd understand the trade a little more. But jumping from a 7th to a 6th, that's not really an impressive move. I don't know. What do you think of the trade?
To see him go specifically, he's been hurt. He hasn't done much. He hasn't played much. Looked okay when he did play, but as just a talent leaving the team, I'm kind of can't help but thinking, and nothing of value was lost. But as far as just handing over a person and just the swap of pick that we did, I feel like I guess there's not a lot of value to him at that point. But
God, the trade does make me a little nervous because I still think Mike Hughes is a really good corner. He's just been hurt all the time. So
right, like every single year.
Yeah, he's just been hurt year in and year out.
Glass bones.
But, I have to disagree a little bit as far as like a talent leaving the team. I still consider Mike Hughes a talent.
He should have been. He had the potential, but it just didn't pan out for us. It's not like he was out there being an Xavier Rhodes for us for the last 5 years, 4 years.
Well, and I think he had Xavier Rhodes' potential if he could have, like you said, stayed healthy. The injuries are the only reason it didn't work out. So it's sort of like, if he's healthy now,
right?
God, this trade does make me nervous. I am a little nervous that Mike Hughes is suddenly healthy and he's going to be able to play, and he'll start tearing it up with the Chiefs.
We'll see if he tears it up or he stays on the old bench with a bum leg or something.
Well, if he's still hurt, then that's another thing. But,
right.
If he's just hurt another year, we wouldn't have been able to bring him back on a 2nd contract then at that point anyway. So I don't know. If he doesn't do much for the Chiefs this year, then I guess you could maybe say the trade was sort of worth it. If he plays a decent role this year, though, then I wouldn't like the trade.
Right.
Just my opinion.
Okay. We did sign Shane Zielstra, the little brother to Brandon Zielstra, but we're making him a tight end.
I don't know whose call that was, if that was Shane's decision and his agent's decision to put weight on and change positions, be a tight end, or if that was the team telling him, we're only going to sign you if you change to a tight end. Now, he was Yeah, he's just one of many in the UDFA signing wave we did.
Mm-hmm. And then we also signed Evan
Kazarchik?
Yeah,
I
whatever.
don't know
That's my
is.
worst nightmare is dyslexic. And cornerback Perry Nickerson on May 17th. Hughes was May 13th. And Shane was May 7th. And then, of course, we'll go over, we got a kind of a whole, of course, roster of draft picks and just some free agent signings. We'll kind of go over those together.
I remember kind of wanting Shane Zielstra the year before as a UDFA, because he put up massive numbers. I mean, granted, he played at MSU Mankato, but he put up massive numbers. So
Home of Adam Thielen.
I just remember Brandon Zielstra was pretty good for us. Let's bring his little brother in.
And make him a tight end.
It's a year late, but we got him.
Woohoo! All right. Well, I think that about wraps up the news here.
That's it for the news.
Now. All right. Let's go ahead and move into the draft zone.
Yeah.
Get just a little bit closer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be good. Talk again.
All right, I'm talking now. How do I sound?
You can go just a little bit closer.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be perfect. Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
Now we're good. Okay.
All right, so Hammer, why don't you take the lead? Or actually, I'm going to take the lead here on naming the pick, and then you can kind of give us a rundown on the pick, what you think of us taking them in that position, all of that good stuff. We'll get the ever so...
You want my reaction pick by pick.
Yeah, live, like it just happened. The ever so weighted with a lot of weight Hammer reaction.
Yeah, all right. Well, if you have any
values his
reaction
opinion.
to the pick yourself, I mean, by all means.
Oh, yeah, of course,
All
of
right.
course.
Yeah, but
So-
take it away, A-Train. Who did we pick first?
So, well, we traded down with the Jets. Of course, I sat there all day waiting for fucking number 14. Actually, 14 wouldn't have came too bad, but of course we traded down. That's fine. Make me wait another 2 hours, Rick. You fucking asshole. Sitting here just drinking beers, having a good time over at Goldschlager's house. And it actually was a blast, to be honest, even though we had one pick and it was at the end of the whole towards the end of the whole night. It was still a fun time. I will say that.
Yeah, shout out to a mutual friend of ours, Goldschlager.
Goldschlager.
Had us over at his place. He had a plug-in ready and waiting for me to plug in for Purple Pain, and we got
That's
the
right.
VIP treatment at his place.
That's right. And that dirty bitch Kirby, his little cat running around.
Yeah, he had two big screen televisions side by side with the draft coverage, and I think he had the Pat McAfee show on the other one. Oh, it was a great time.
I love how AJ Hawk is always smoking a cigar. I wish we could have heard more of Pat McAfee's analysis. Actually, I find him quite entertaining versus just like the
Yeah, I think he
the
had
suits going blah blah blah. Look at this guy run here, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
blah.
Goldschlager had the sound on the draft coverage.
More often
end
than
of it.
not.
I think it was ESPN.
All right. But yes, so with that 23rd pick that we traded down for in the first round, 23 overall, we took Virginia Tech Christian Darasaw, an offensive lineman, a tackle specifically. Me and you kind of went over those tackles going into this. I kind of had, I kind of knew the top tackles that I wanted to see us get. We took one who should be a good tackle, good kid, shows lots of promise. I was very happy with just taking an O-lineman right off the bat.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded having Jason Owe.
Well, yeah,
also,
there's
Well, I mean, first of all, I wanted the trade down because Rashawn Slater was the guy I really wanted at 14. And when the Chargers took Rashawn Slater right in front of us, the spot right in front of us at 13, I instantly just said, fuck!
wow.
Rashawn Slater was the guy I wanted. So right when Rashawn Slater got picked in front of us, I remember typing on the Purple Pain forums, okay, yeah, I want to trade down. Let's trade down.
Poor little Hammer didn't get what he wanted.
I wanted Rashawn Slater. Taking Darasaw at 23 overall, I thought that felt about right. I think the general consensus coming into the draft was that for offensive linemen, there was a top two, Penei Sewell and Rashawn Slater, and then there was a bit of a drop-off, and then Christian Darasaw was kind of in a group by himself, and then there was another drop-off, and then you had guys like Tevin Jenkins, Elijah Vera Tucker, Sam Cosme.
My boy Quinn down there. Where's he at?
He would have been another probably
Love that guy.
group below that. But
Who took that guy?
the Broncos took Quinn Miners in the third round.
Maybe we'll do a trade with him or something.
Yeah, that was your guy.
He was the guy who was out in like Wisconsin woods chopping trees for his video, right?
He was training with logs in the Wisconsin.
Yeah, that guy's a
woods,
badass, and he's uses violence on the football field. Love that guy. Bring him in.
But anyway, I thought that was for the value. I thought that Darasaw probably should have been taken in the 20s.
I think Rick did some good business there.
God damn it, I like the way you do business.
Well, when I first saw the specifics of the trade, I was a little underwhelmed. I thought we should have at least gotten our second round pick back.
Right.
If we were going to trade down. I mean, the Giants had traded down 9 spots with the Bears just a couple spots before us, and they got a first rounder for next year.
Right.
From the Bears. I guess they were trading up for a quarterback. I guess that does make a difference. I don't know.
Desperation, man. Desperation.
I would have loved fleecing the Jets in that spot, but if he's not getting an offer like that from anyone else, you got to take the offer that's there. And it wasn't a bad trade either.
No,
it was a reasonable trade.
Right.
Picked up a couple extra thirds and gave up a fourth. I mean that pretty
barely, like you said, a barely kind of above the breaking point, if you will, kind of.
Well, yeah, I think the
of
Jimmy
being good.
Johnson trade value chart says that the Vikings won that trade by like a tiny, super tiny margin.
Right.
It ended up being worth it for us because we got the guy that Spielman would have taken at 14 anyway. Because that's what he said was that they wanted Darasaw, and the coaches got a little tight in the war room when they traded down because they weren't completely sure he'd still be there.
Right.
At 23.
It was a risk. There was some risk. There was some risk.
Now, I didn't see it as big of a risk because a lot of people on the Purple Pain forums hated the trade down at the time. Because Dan Chat is a really, really smart fan, does a lot of draft analysis. He does comprehensive top 500 lists and everything. And he wanted Darasaw at 14.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were able to take Darasaw at 23, he considered that an A+++ move. So, that's actually kind of making me rethink my opinion a little bit, honestly.
Right.
But
weren't we close to getting Slater at 14, and then it was like a few spots off that he got taken, and then when we didn't get him, then that's when we did the trade.
Well, Rashawn Slater got picked the spot right before.
Right, so it was like, so close.
Yeah, at 13, I was praying that the Chargers were going to take Elijah Vera Tucker.
Yeah.
Because that was our chance, is if the Chargers liked him more than Slater, then that was, then we could have taken Slater at 14 and boom, done.
Mm-hmm.
But things don't always work out exactly how you want. But the thing is, if Darasaw had been taken, if the Raiders had taken Darasaw instead of Alex Leatherwood, I would have been perfectly fine with us taking Jason Oweh in the first round and then maybe trading up for Sam Cosme in the second round, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been great with that too.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good trade down from Rick.
Yeah.
It was a good trade down.
Not bad, Ricky boy. Not bad. All right, well, let's move on then. In the third, with our next pick, it was the third round, 66th overall. We got Texas A&M quarterback Helen Monde. So we took a quarterback with our second pick.
Yeah, that was I was surprised he was still there. There was a 4-pick stretch where 3 quarterbacks got taken because Tampa Bay, with the last pick of the second round, they took Kyle Trask, the quarterback from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And then a running back got taken. And then the Vikings took Helen Monde. And then the pick right after that, the Texans took Davis Mills, that quarterback from Stanford that I think started 11 games. He hasn't started much. He's been hurt a lot. Out of those 3 guys, Helen Monde is definitely the guy I would have taken. Now, we'll never know if Spielman had Trask rated higher or not because Trask had already been taken. We were choosing between Monde and Mills.
I wish they would just release their thoughts after it's done. Because who cares now? Who gives a shit now? The draft is done and gone. It would actually be kind of cool to see how like Rick's list kind of went just now for fun after the fact.
Well,
just, you know,
if Spielman had Trask rated higher than Monde, you kind of don't want him to come out and say, yeah, we really wanted Kyle Trask, but damn, he got taken, so we had to take this Kellen Monde guy.
True.
That's
Might
not
hurt
gonna,
Mond's feelings.
That's not going to go well with...
Very true. Very true.
So I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
they know. Everybody knows that you want a guy, you don't get him, then you end up taking another guy. It's part of the fucking draft process.
You're not
Grow
going
up
to hear
and,
him.
you know.
You're not going to hear him say what they're
I get it.
drafted. No, I would
It'd just be
rather
kind of
had-
fun from an analytical standpoint.
Well, no, I think we got the better QB anyway.
Okay.
I think Kellen Monde is a lot better prospect than Kyle Trask. But Kellen Monde has an arm.
Good.
Wow, can he throw?
Good.
He's
is he a
got arm
scrambler?
strength.
Is he quick on his feet?
Oh, he is. He's mobile.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he can run. He's a plus athlete.
Beautiful.
There was a Purple Pain member that I'm blanking on who it was, but in the reaction to that pick, there was a member on Purple Pain that posted that he kind of reminds him of Tavares Jackson a little bit. He has a big arm and can run. The accuracy might not be the best right now. I think he's a little bit better as a prospect than Tavares Jackson.
I was going to say, I don't
personally.
really like that comparison, but go on.
Well,
Because T-Jack never really was a top-tier talent.
well, he was a backup for
He was a
10
journeyman
years or
backup,
whatever.
essentially. Yeah.
Now that might also be because he didn't have great coaching with us. I
True.
mean, Brad Childress
Ew.
kind of didn't know what he
I
was
don't even
doing.
like saying that name.
It's hard to say how Tavares Jackson would have done if he had gone to the right situation.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Kellen Monde, he's an athlete. He can throw it. He played in a pro style offense. He had read progressions, like that sort of thing.
I like it.
It wasn't like
You
a
get me
one
excited,
read.
man. You get me excited about our new quarterback.
Well, it wasn't like a one read thing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he would go through reads and read defenses and
I like it.
pro style stuff. He's definitely the guy I would have picked there out of those three guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my God, Kellen Monde was a 4-year starter. I mean, he started like 40 games.
He's got a nice sample size to look
Yeah.
at.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So he'll need the decision making will need to be coached up a little bit, but he, as a decision maker, he's better than Kyle Trask. I think better than Davis Mills from what little I saw of him. I actually straight up would rather have Kellen Monde than Mac Jones.
I was actually just gonna say, remember when we were Goldschlagers and he kept asking who took Mac Jones? He didn't come off remember he dropped. He didn't go off the board for forever. And then the Pats finally took him.
The Patriots took him right after we traded out of the Darasaw pick.
I was actually just thinking, do you think Monde really looks any better than any of the first round guys?
Well, Trey Lance was the guy I wanted the most.
Right.
I mean, if I had to pick either Trevor Lawrence or Kellen Monde, I would have picked Trevor Lawrence. But Zach Wilson, that's close.
Mm.
Yeah, the Jets took Zach Wilson number 2 overall. God, that's close.
Don't think too hard. You might smash the pea hammer.
Yeah, I might have to watch some more film of both of them and get back to you next episode or something with that one.
So would you say that us taking Monde, would you say that we robbed anybody?
Well, it was a good value.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we took him with the first pick we got in the Jets trade when we traded down.
Right.
We might not have gotten him if we hadn't traded down. So, I thought Monde was going to go second round.
He could be a future superstar.
Oh, Russell Wilson was a third round pick.
There
Kellen
you go.
Monde is our
There you
third
go.
round pick. Kellen Monde has a lot of potential.
I'm going to say right now that we robbed another team from having a superstar future quarterback.
But I know some people that rob some people.
It's very possible that the Texans liked Kellen Monde a lot and wanted him. And ended up
what's his name is out down there now, so Watson's out, right?
Deshaun Watson.
Watson's gone.
He's
isn't he?
got them legal troubles
from his off the field issues.
So it's possible they were thinking they were going to get Monde, and right before we sniped them, and then they said, I guess Davis Mills.
Yeah, come on in, jerk. And he's like, all right, fuck you too.
The thing with Monde, biggest weakness that I saw just from the couple of Texas A&M games I watched was just accuracy. The throwing motion might need to be tweaked a little bit. But God, he's got plenty of arm. The arm strength, and he can run.
Did he win a lot of games with his college team?
I'm blanking a little bit on how Texas A&M, I think, was a top 25 team for a while. Yeah, he did well.
Okay.
Yeah, he did well. I think he won a bowl game. I think it was Florida he beat.
Ooh.
Yeah, actually, I think he beat Kyle Trask. Because Kyle Trask played for Florida. So
screw you, hippie.
And Helen Monde, he ran the 40 in, I believe it was a 4.57. Yeah, he ran at the same speed as Daniil Hunter did. So, yeah, he's definitely athletic enough. He's definitely got strong enough arm.
I like it, man.
I would be a little worried about the durability, maybe.
I don't think we watched the video on him when we were watching all those videos. We didn't see him, did we?
I didn't watch any with you.
Okay.
I watched some on my own.
Okay.
Kellen Mond, he's built a lot like Teddy.
Okay.
He's about 6'2", 205, 210.
Teddy
whatever.
2.0. Teddy 2.0.
Well, yeah. There are some differences. I mean, Teddy was a more accurate passer.
Mm-hmm.
Kellen Mond has a stronger arm. I
Okay.
mean, they're not like potato, like they're not like identical prospects. So
Right.
they are a little bit different. But Kellen Mond is built like Teddy,
Okay.
about the same size, same build.
Okay.
So I would be a little worried about the durability. We need to protect him. When Kellen Mond is our starting QB, we do need to protect him.
Well, that's going to be Christian's job now, isn't
Yep,
it?
there you go. Yep.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on here. With our third pick in the third round pick, 78th overall, we took North Carolina linebacker Chaz Stewart. I want to say
Surratt.
Stewart, but it's Surratt. Yeah,
Chaz Surratt.
Surratt. Chaz. I like that name. Double Z, by the way.
Yeah,
Like it a lot.
This is a pick I'm not sure completely what to think of it, or at least I wasn't at the time.
Oh, he's baffled.
Well, I mean, the thing is, we trust Zimmer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
in
a
Zim we
defensive
trust.
player.
It's a shirt out there. In Zim we trust.
I remember feeling the same way about the Anthony Barr pick back in the day. I mean, he was a linebacker that had played running back and tight end, and he switched in college, and he had only been playing linebacker for 2 years. And I wasn't sure if he would have instincts for the position, and it was all going to come down to if Zimmer could coach him up.
Mm-hmm.
It was Zimmer's first year with us. We didn't know how he would be as a coach. And ever since then, we've said, hey, we trust all of the defensive players we take.
Right.
Because it's Zimmer. We got amazing coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So part of me just wants to trust this blindly and call it good. He's definitely small. I mean, he's
So he should be
smaller-
quick as hell then.
Well, he is fast.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
he's
good.
a sideline to sideline kind of guy.
That's good. So he'll be an outside for sure, tracking down maybe tight end threats or
Thinking like a weak side
helping-
linebacker. Yeah.
kind of like helping back up on like wide receivers maybe or
Yeah, he wouldn't be an Anthony Barr replacement. He would
Right.
be more of like an Eric Wilson replacement.
okay.
They say he projects to be like that weak side linebacker where he can kind of roam and just sort of pursue the ball.
Ooh. Maybe he'll start getting sacks.
He did some blitzing at North
yeah,
Carolina
put some
too.
pressure on. Yeah.
So I could see us maybe in some packages sending him on a blitz. Also, he used to play quarterback at North Carolina, and then they switched him to linebacker.
It's quite a position change.
Yeah, that is an interesting change. So I mean I don't know what the perceived value of Surratt was, because I mean all the different talking heads had wide range of opinions on him, like where he should have been drafted.
I was gonna say there was a few there's 2 or 3 linebackers that went in round 1, wasn't there?
Micah Parsons went to the Cowboys at number 12, I believe it was. The only thing I kind of didn't like about this Surratt pick was that Jabril Cox was still on the board. Because I was thinking, hey, we got to get Jabril Cox. That would be a great linebacker to draft here. Jabril Cox played at NDSU for a few years.
Ooh.
And then he transferred to LSU for this last season. He's just total stud of a linebacker. I couldn't believe he was still there in the 3rd round. I think the Cowboys they took him also. The Cowboys got a steal with Jabril Cox in the 3rd round, I
They're
think.
set at linebacker.
So we could have had Jabril Cox, but we took Chaz Surratt instead. That kind of makes me a little nervous, but again, Zimmer, so I'll trust it.
All right. Hope it don't come back to bite you later.
Yeah, he might be a special teams guy early also.
So if Zimmer lets you down with all these trustworthy turn your blind eye picks that you're talking about this year, if he lets you down and they all suck, are you going to just turn your back on good old Mike Zimmer?
Well, I might stop blindly trusting his picks in the future from then on if that happens. But Chaz Surratt, they say I haven't seen a ton of North Carolina football, but the consensus is that he's a max effort guy.
Okay, well, that's always good.
Gives it everything he's got every play, competitor. He missed a lot of tackles, I noticed.
Oh, he'll blend right in then, right? With the Vikings defense from last year? He'll blend right in?
With the stats, like the college stats, I noticed he missed a lot of tackles. That's going to need to be cleaned up, but he has potential, though.
All right.
For sure.
Well, let's move on down the train here. We don't want to drag this out too long. I know Hammer can yammer over there. Hammer the yammer.
I have opinions.
And they all stink. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so the third round pick, our next pick, this is what the fourth pick that we took. Third round, 86th overall, Ohio State. Good to see it's an O-lineman guard, baby. Wyatt Davis, a guard from Ohio State.
I had kind of forgotten about Wyatt Davis. He looked like a first rounder the year before the 2019 season.
Mm-hmm.
He played awesome. He looked like a total stud on the field. He looked like a first rounder, and then he dropped off this past year. Didn't look all that good. Wasn't all that impressive.
The Corona year. I just want to preface it was the Corona year. Technically.
Year.
Okay.
Now, I didn't know this at the time. I just found this out, a few days ago, a week ago, whatever. But Wyatt Davis had been playing hurt that last year.
Okay.
I had no idea he had an injury. I mean, maybe that's just on me not staying caught up with all things college football.
You're a little too prejudgy, I think.
But Wyatt Davis, he was playing hurt pretty much that whole year last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that pretty much changes everything.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that reminds me, actually, with Christian Darasaw, too. I mean, Christian Darasaw, in an interview, he said that last year he had been playing with a sports hernia.
Ooh.
And, I mean, I thought he looked like a borderline first rounder on what I saw of him.
That's a
and
good
he did
thing,
that
man.
with a sports hernia.
Yeah.
This is a year more than any that it looks like knowing the medicals is important.
Right.
So that's kind of making me think maybe Darasaw is elite. Maybe Wyatt Davis is elite and he just couldn't show it last year because he was hurt.
Right.
This was a crazy good value.
Getting a lot of hope, man. I'm starting to swell with a lot of hope for this upcoming season after that super disappointing season.
Yeah, pretty interesting. His dad, Dwayne Davis, he was actually a tight end at University of Missouri back in 1980 when Mike Zimmer was coaching in his first coaching job.
Nice.
Yeah, that was actually Mike Zimmer's first ever coaching job, I believe, was University of Missouri.
Coach the father, coach the son.
Dwayne Davis was a tight end. I don't think Zimmer was coaching him personally a whole lot.
Well, right, but still, if he was the head coach,
Well, he was a defensive
true
coach.
True.
I think actually somebody asked Zimmer in a press conference if he remembered him, and Zimmer couldn't remember him. But Dwayne Davis played some college football at Missouri and then became an actor. I need to watch that Little Big League movie. I still haven't seen it. But there's a movie called Little Big League where the Twins are the team and, the owner ends up dying. So the owner's, 13-year-old son or however old he was inherits the team and makes himself the manager.
You've never seen that?
I've never seen that.
What the fuck?
It's a movie I really need to see. Wyatt Davis's dad is in it, from what I've heard.
It was in 1994, man.
It's about the Twins.
Yep.
And me and our mutual friend Big B. Yeah, me and Big B have a mutual friend. You've never met him, but we have a mutual friend, J Money, who was actually an extra in that movie.
Awesome. I think you've mentioned that, though, before.
He was in the Metrodome.
Wow. I know I've seen this. I always think of that, Little Big League, and I always think of the kid that hurt his arm. And then he can throw the ball and he becomes a pitcher. Also, I believe that was for the Twins.
No, that was for the Cubs.
Oh, that was the Cubs?
You're thinking of Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
for that
you're
one.
right. You're right.
But the Twins are pretty well represented in Hollywood.
Kind of. We were in the 90s when we were winning championships.
I mean,
anyway.
the Twins were the bad guys in Major League Back to the Minors. And
Goddamn
then we were the good
Minnesota.
guys with Little Big League.
Go Twins.
Yeah, Dwayne Davis has actually been in a pretty fair share of movies as an
Cool.
actor.
Cool.
But Little Big League, that's a movie I definitely need to see at some point.
Everybody go on Purple Pan forums and make fun of him for not having seen it by now because he's had how many years to see it?
I love the Twins.
He loves the Twins. He likes a kid taking over a big position because
a
he
friend of
strived to
mine-
do it as a kid.
A friend of mine from college was an extra in that movie,
Yeah,
for God's
give me
sake.
a
I need to
break.
see that movie.
Get off the chest and give me a break, bro. God damn. All right.
Alrighty.
So Wyatt Davis seems like a solid pick.
That was a steal where we
Good.
got him.
Good,
Late in
good,
the
good.
third round, Wyatt Davis. Are you kidding me?
God damn it, I like the way you do business.
Yes, sir.
All right. Moving on to the next pick. Third round pick that we got from the Ravens. 90th overall. We took
Hingle McCringleberry, Penn State University.
Hingle McCringleberry. He's going to be a tight end for us. He's looking real good. He does a lot of hip thrusts, but he gets a lot of flags out on the field. No, just kidding. We took Pittsburgh defensive end Patrick Jones the second. What do you think of this pick?
This was a trade we got from the Ravens for the Unique Ngakoue
Oh, yeah,
trade where we tried getting some of our draft capital back. I was kind of eyeing Rashad Weaver, his teammate. I mean, Pittsburgh had a crazy good defensive line. Sometimes you see this out of colleges where certain teams end up putting out really great players at certain positions. Like you can kind of see where the good position coaches might be in college. Aaron Donald, he was a Pittsburgh alum also. Pittsburgh seems to always have a good defensive line. I was kind of eyeing Rashad Weaver because he was the more athletic defensive end on that team. Now I'm really glad we didn't take him because I think a day or two after the draft he ended up getting accused of assaulting like his girlfriend or something. Patrick Jones, he is another max effort guy. He's a heart and soul guy.
Good.
That guy, he's like a Jared Allen type where he gives you everything he's got every play.
Good. That's how it should be.
He was really productive on the field. I mean, all sorts of sacks and really disruptive and all that. I guess they say he's just a avid film watcher. Like he watches a ton of like football film, watches a ton of tape.
Nice.
He's a student of the game already. I think he's definitely more ready to play than the other defensive end we drafted later. I'm excited to see what he's not unathletic.
Right.
He's a perfectly good athlete. So I mean it's just with our coaching. I mean, as long as we have Andre Patterson, I've kind of stopped caring about production in college as much, and I look more for traits like athleticism, that sort of thing. I mean, Daniil Hunter had 2 sacks at his whole career.
Right.
at
It's
LSU?
not like he was breaking doors down in his college days.
Well, and part of that was just because of the coaching at LSU. They were asking him to do different things, and as long as we have Patterson and Zimmer, I care more about the athlete, like the Jason Oways, let's get the mega uber athletes in and coach them up.
That's a good strategy.
But this pick proves that they also do care a little bit about production. Let's get a guy that's just a really good football player.
Right.
And Patrick Jones is. So if you would have told me that we would end up drafting 2 Pittsburgh defensive linemen and neither of them was Rashad Weaver, I would have been like, wow, okay, interesting.
You would have walked out the door.
Well, I don't know about that, but I really liked Rashad Weaver in the 3rd round as a draft pick. And I'm already thinking I was wrong on that because of the character issues, I guess. No, I'm happy with this pick though. This was another good value, I thought.
Good.
Patrick Jones late in the 3rd round, that's a good pick.
Hammer likey.
All right. Oh, let's go ahead and move on here. I think we're about halfway through, roughly. Okay, so with the next pick, 4th round, 119th overall, Iowa State running back Kenny.
Kenny. That's Kenny. Come on, say it with me, A-Train.
Kenny. All right.
Kenny.
And how do you say that last name?
Kane. Well, that I'm not completely. It's either Wongu or Nwangwu.
I was gonna say, is the W silent? So just like
Well, no, I'm not sure if the N is.
Nangu?
I don't know if the N is silent or not. It's either Kane
Wagu?
Wongwu or Nwangwu.
Just call him Kenny.
Yeah, we'll call him Kane.
Come on, Kenny. Come on, Kenny. Come on, Kenny.
This was a pick that felt like it might have been a little bit of a reach. I mean, he didn't. God, I don't think he ran the ball that much at Iowa State. He's a running back, but they hardly ever.
Is this that returner that you were showing me, or is that a different?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we started recording this episode, I was showing you the very few clips of him running the ball that exist.
So he was super. He's super fast.
He's super fast.
Super fast.
I believe he ran a 4.32 at his pro day. I think. Yeah. Anyway, he's a 4.3 speed. He's blazing fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was strictly a kick returner,
right,
at Iowa State.
And I feel like we're also going to put him in a returning / special teams position.
Well, he'll get a shot at the job for sure.
Yeah.
I can't speak to what kind of a running back he is necessarily.
Fast. He's really fast. He's a fast running back.
I don't
That's the
know
kind of
if.
running back
I mean, I don't know if he would play better in a zone scheme or what kind of scheme he'd be better running out of.
I don't think we're gonna be running the young man. I mean, he's
don't
got
know
Delvin, and then he's got
Madison,
and then he's got Madison, and then there ain't no room for him at the end.
I have no idea like how good he is catching the ball. I've
Right.
never seen him catch a pass.
I don't think we're gonna need him to. So
I don't know how good he is at blitz pickup, like that kind of thing.
rest your little weary head, Hammer, because he will be on our special team. He's probably going to be a beast on our special teams unit.
Well, he definitely has potential to be a dynamic return guy.
Mm-hmm. That explosive speed, man.
So yeah,
that's all you need.
He isn't quite Jerick McKinnon. I mean, Jerick McKinnon was like really short. He's actually faster than Jerick McKinnon was, and he's bigger. Because Kane is
checkbox.
Yeah, Kane is 6'1", I believe, 210. Like he has decent size, especially for how fast he is.
Right.
So
I like that. Damn. All right.
I'm guessing there was a special teams coach that maybe was pounding the table saying, "Hey, give me that guy as a returner, please."
Right.
So
right.
I'm not expecting him to do a whole lot as a running back, but if he's a dynamic kick return guy, then I'd say that's worth a 4th round pick.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
There you go.
We're kind of in need of returners on both both types of returners, aren't we?
I would say punt returner is a bigger need. Because we still do have Amir Abdullah.
Right.
And he's an okay kick returner.
Right.
I mean, we just don't have anyone on the team that can return punts right now unless one of these rookies ends up being able to do it. Because KJ Osborne needs to not be on this team anymore. I don't want Chad Beebe returning punts.
Chad Beebe.
He had a big fumble on a punt that almost cost us a game.
You leave that young man alone. He's Don's son, all right?
I like him as a player. I hope we keep him as a backup receiver. I just don't want him returning punts.
All right. All right.
You can
don't be too vicious over there.
You vicious bastards!
You slow your roll, A-Train. I'm being okay. I'm being just fine
talking
over
about
here.
Chad like that.
Cool as a cucumber is the hammer at this moment.
It's actually like 75 in this room, but yeah.
Yeah,
you're sweating bullets over there.
No, I am
All right,
not.
so we got Kenny. Okay, so I'm very, very, very hopeful for that young man. Okay, so let's move it on along down the road here. 4th round pick from the Bears. 125th overall. We got California safety Cameron Bynum.
Yeah,
stepping up to the plate.
we got this pick from last year's draft where we traded down and the Bears gave us a 4th rounder for this year. I like this pick a lot.
Mm-hmm.
On the Purple Pain forums in the draft simulator thread, I actually had posted a mock draft a few days before the draft, and the only guy I took that matched what the real life team ended up doing was actually Cameron Bynum in the 4th round.
All right.
I like this pick a lot. Cameron Bynum was a corner at Cal, and we're going to move him to safety, like we're switching him. The team had the same idea that I did with Benjamin St. Just, because I remember we were talking about him, and I was saying I'd love to get Benjamin St. Just and switch him to safety. And we ended up doing that with Cameron Bynum instead, because St. Just got picked like in the I think late second or early third round, something like that. He wasn't there in the fourth round anymore.
The patron saint of steroids, St. Juice.
But Cameron Bynum, he's a football player. That guy can play. I know
I'm glad we didn't draft a baseball player, so that's good.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Captain Obvious over there. He's a football player, I'll tell you what.
Well, there are some people like on the Purple Pain forums and just people in general that were a little worried about his speed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm blanking on his. I think he ran a 4.5 at his pro day. He's not a blazing fast guy, but he plays a lot faster than that. It seemed like any time I was switching channels and I watched some of a Cal game, I was always seeing number 24 breaking a pass up.
just hands in people's faces, just getting it on every play.
Yeah,
like
coming up, making tackles. I mean,
he's like where he's supposed to be every time type of a guy.
Yeah, he was around the ball a lot. I mean, maybe this is just the games I saw, but from what I saw, just of him playing at Cal, it seemed like he was always around the ball. He definitely isn't afraid to...
Loves action.
Yeah, he isn't afraid to come up and make a tackle in the run game. He's really good supporting the run.
If you are afraid of making a tackle, you probably shouldn't be playing football.
Well, Deion Sanders had a long career, and he kind of didn't like tackling guys.
Now, he's also a Madonna. A prima donna little baby boy. Well,
yeah, I like this pick a lot. I felt this was pretty good value getting him in the fourth round.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Chat, I think, said that he had him as a fifth rounder, and from what I saw, I have to disagree with that a little bit, actually. But
shots fired at Dan Chat.
I don't know about that, but
argue.
I've been pretty complimentary of Dan Chat.
Oh, 1,000%.
I love that guy, but anyway, Cameron Bynum, he's a football player. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the biggest guy, but
probably got a good football mind.
Well, that's what Zimmer said.
Reading the field.
Yeah, Zimmer said that in his presser too, that he's impressed with him. Processing things. He understands everything.
Good.
High IQ. He has great instincts, and is
he our Harrison Smith of the future?
Well, Harrison Smith, is he the free safety? I believe. Cameron Bynum might be a little more of an in-the-box safety than...
Okay, I gotcha.
Well, but the thing is, Harrison Smith
I don't know all those breakdowns and specifics. Well, I know there's two kinds of safeties, but I'm not so technical to be like, okay, he's good at this, but maybe we're not playing him doing this. I'm not thinking those types of things when I blurt my mouth out.
Well, now that I think of it, I would consider him a little more of a Harrison Smith replacement than an Anthony Harris replacement.
Okay.
I guess as far as playing style goes, because they both kind of like Cameron Bynum at Cal. He blitzed a little bit here and there also. Like they kind of had him do different things a lot like Harrison Smith does for us. So yeah, I could kind of see that. I mean, they're both good against the run. They both tackle well, and they both seem to have a nose for the football.
Harry ain't gonna be around forever. He's already been in the league for 10 years. The dude's kind of in his twilight years now. We ain't gonna have him. I don't know. Whenever his contract's done, who knows what's gonna happen?
Well,
but love the guy, but he ain't gonna stick around forever. It's one of those things where he had his run. He's been awesome, but we gotta get some other young, fresh, awesome safeties in there.
Well, for whatever it's worth, pretty much every time I saw a Cal game, whoever they were playing, just flipping channels, like, oh, I'll watch the rest of this
He was
game.
up in that business.
24 stood out. When the Cal defense was on the field, 24 stood out to me.
Good.
And I'm glad we got him.
Awesome.
I in that mock draft I did, I made sure to get him in the fourth round.
I don't feel bad about any of these guys so far.
Me neither.
Not really. Not a guy like a Willie Beavers.
I don't really know a whole lot about Beavers, honestly.
Or just a guy that we don't know much about. We don't know how well they how well they played. Maybe they didn't even go to the pro day. Just stuff like that. You're like, I don't know what this pick's gonna be. I don't really feel like that on
this
any
whole
of these.
draft. I don't see any draft pick that reminds me of how I felt like when we took KJ Osborne last year.
You were like, huh?
Or to a bigger extent, Willie Beavers. That was one I was just
and you were like,
what the
hell was that?
Just dumbfounded, yeah.
On the floor in the fetal position, begging for a bottle of vodka.
Yeah, we said this on the podcast 5 years ago, whatever it was. But,
because I remember that.
Well, but I mean, I just remember being just, what the fuck? Because I thought we could have gotten him in the 6th or 7th round, and we took him in the 4th round. But anyway, we can do that. What the hell was that? Hey, play that one more time.
I already played it twice.
Come on, one more time.
The hell was that?
If you'd listen. All right.
Krusty the Clown.
All right, so for our next pick, 4th round from the Bills, a pick from the Bills, 134th overall, we took Janarius Robinson.
Defensive end from Florida State.
DE from Florida State University.
Yeah, I believe this was the last pick out of the Stephon Diggs trade.
Okay. Oh, yep. That makes from the Bills. Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, I believe this. I think we're done with that trade now.
Okay.
As far as all the players we ended up taking from those picks.
Well, thanks, Diggs, for Janarius.
Yeah, Janarius Robinson. The one thing that stands out about him that just screams like Zimmer type of player, man, this guy has arms. Man, that arm length, have you seen that guy?
No. So he's the Grim Reacher number 2 on the defensive side of the ball?
I would say so. I believe his arms measured at over 35 inches.
Jesus Christ.
The guy is...
So if he's got some speed with that, or he's got some footwork with that, I think that equals domination is what that equals.
Well, I mean, out of the 2 defensive ends we took, Patrick Jones and Janarius Robinson, I think Janarius Robinson has a little more potential. Like, he's the guy that could maybe be, like, Hall of Fame level if he's coached up right and everything. Patrick Jones is a lot more ready to play right now. So I'm guessing Janarius Robinson... I'm thinking he'll probably be inactive most Sundays his rookie year. I think he needs to be coached up probably a fair amount, but
he's got the physical tools.
But
is
man,
what you're
yeah, I mean, Zimmer loves him some long arms, and this guy doesn't disappoint.
All right.
And he's a pretty athletic guy too, so
that should be a drop. Zimmer loves him some long arms.
I mean, as far as athleticism goes, Janarius Robinson isn't quite, Daniil Hunter, Jason Owe level, but he is a very above average athlete as far as that goes.
Mm-hmm.
You combine that with the arms. Oh my God.
Oh my OMG.
So this is a pick that could end up like we might have like a, perennial Pro Bowler on our hands in a year or two.
Fucking A.
I wouldn't expect that this year, but in a year or two, look out.
Groom, man. Groom.
Grooming them.
I hate to see people get thrown in immediately and just either suck or be lost or get hurt. I fucking hate it. Groom. Learn. Slowly move them into the system. Slowly get them accommodated to everything. It doesn't need to be rushed. I feel like every time it's more often than not, I feel like 8 times out of 10 when somebody's just thrown in there right out of college, they either suck or they get hurt or they're just struggling. It's like, stop it. I know sometimes your back's up against the wall. You got other injuries. So you just send somebody right in, or you're desperate to fill that position. We don't have a good starting center right now. We're going to draft this center and put him in right away. No reference to anything specific. So, but like, I get that, but yes, groom, please just build it up.
Well,
if it don't work, it don't work. But I love the grooming process way more than just throwing somebody in a trial by fire.
Well, that's what I think they will do with him.
Good.
I mean, Janarius Robinson he was a name I had heard. Like I had kind of seen the name in some mock drafts online, stuff like that. I wasn't super familiar with him until after we drafted him, and I kind of had to go back and try to find some tape of him. I had seen a couple Florida State games. I didn't remember him doing a whole lot in those games I saw. And in some interviews afterwards, like some of the coaches kind of said, well, the Florida State coaching staff maybe didn't do him any favors, and it might be sort of a Daniil Hunter situation all over again. So, I mean, Janarius Robinson, he had an interview with Gabe Henderson, I believe. It was a Vikings one-on-one segment that you can find on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But Gabe Henderson was interviewing Janarius Robinson, and he kind of asked him, well, hey, what's the biggest difference in practice between, like, practicing in college versus practicing in NFL? And Robinson said, and Robinson kind of told him, well, you get a lot more face time with the coaches at this level. You get a lot more one-on-one time with your coach at the NFL level. And when I heard him say that, I was kind of thinking to myself, I don't know if that's 100% really the case. I'm kind of thinking he himself happens to be getting more of it because of all the potential he has.
Right.
I mean, remember Mike Zimmer when he first came to the Vikings? He was in Xavier Rhodes' ear a ton, like that first training camp. I mean, he was giving Xavier Rhodes a ton of one-on-one time in practice. It was because Zimmer saw him and realized how good he could be. He had all the potential in the world, so he was giving him a lot of one-on-one time to coach him up. I think that's what Patterson and Zimmer are doing with Robinson.
Good.
Just all that potential he has. I don't think that's a normal or a really normal thing across the NFL per se. So
and he's got great other teammates to practice with too.
Oh, absolutely.
That are seasoned veterans. I mean,
this is the perfect situation for him to come into, getting to learn from guys like Danielle Hunter that had the same thing where they didn't do a whole lot in college, and it maybe wasn't necessarily their fault. I mean, when Danielle Hunter tells you, listen to the coaches, he's going to take it seriously. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
All right, well, let's move it right along here. We're already at the 61-minute mark. The 5th round pick, our next pick was a 5th round pick, 157th overall, Iowa wide receiver Emir Smith-Marset.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Another kick returner.
Okay.
He's as a receiver, he's solid. I would have preferred Nico Collins from Michigan. That out of all the 3rd, 4th round receivers, that was the guy I was kind of hoping the Vikings would get, was Nico Collins. Amir Smith-Marset in the 5th round, I think that sounds about right. Like we paid market value for him.
Okay.
When we took him in the 5th round, I didn't consider that a huge steal or a huge reach,
right?
Either.
Just kind of where he should be, and when we should be taking someone like him.
I'm hoping he's gotten rid of the showboating, because there was a game he had a touchdown where he ran it into the end zone, and he did a front flip into the end zone, and he ended up injuring his ankle on the play and couldn't play the rest of the season. So I'm kind of hoping he maybe just tones that down a little bit. He had a little showboat to him in college.
So he's like Hulk Hogan. He had a little showboating and hot dogging. Just a little bit of that.
Yeah, just a little bit.
All right.
He's seemed like a pretty solid returner from what I saw. I remember. I'm trying to think. He did catch a deep pass against the Gophers in a game. I don't think it was.
Ooh, burned him real good, huh?
Yeah, I don't think it was the game where Iowa ended our unbeaten streak the year before. I think it was the year before that even. I'm pretty sure he caught a deep pass against us.
But he's not coming to us. We didn't get him going, we need another active wide receiver. We got him going, you're going to special teams.
I don't know about that. I mean, he is a kick returner, but he wasn't strictly a kick returner.
Right.
I mean, he played wide receiver.
Returners always are technically another position. They just are returning kicks. They're running backs. They're wide receivers. They're even corners. Like Sherrill's was technically a corner.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they're maybe looking at Smith-Marset as a punt returner. I thought I heard Zimmer or maybe one of the other coaches saying that. I have no earthly idea how good of a punt returner he'll be. He didn't return any punts at Iowa, so.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's nothing to go off of there.
So just some versatility there.
He's good as a receiver. I mean, he made some nice catches. There are some highlight reel plays, one-handed grabs, stuff like that.
Good.
He's got potential on the field. He's a little light. I mean, he's 6'1". I think he weighs 185 pounds, something like that. It'd be nice to see him maybe add a little muscle, because I'd be worried at the pro level about how he would respond to press coverage. Because I'm a little worried you could maybe stop him by jamming him at the line.
Just a big defensive back just getting in his face.
Yeah, if he gets to physical corners in the NFL, I would be a little worried about that. He needs to add a little muscle, I think, to show that you can't just come up and jam him every play and stop him. But with the ball in his hands, he's electric.
Deadly, yeah.
Yards after catch and everything. He's good with the football after the catch.
Nice.
He has pretty good hands from what I saw, and he seemed to run most of the routes in the route tree. he wasn't just a gadget player. I mean, they had him running different routes on the field. So, I mean, I'm sure he could improve his route running, but he's not like a Cordero Patterson type where he just can't run routes and you have to manufacture touches for him every play either.
Ouch.
I mean,
shots fired from Hammer.
Well, I mean, if you look at his highlight reel, I mean, sure, he had a couple touchdowns on like a jet sweep or a bubble screen, but he had other touchdowns where it was just a deep ball where he beat his guy and stuff like that. And he seemed to be running most of the routes in the route tree at different levels of the field, deep, intermediate, short, whatever. So, Amir Smith-Marset, I like the pick.
All right, perfect. Moving on. I think there's only 2 left here.
Yep, there's
Let's
2
go
draft
ahead and
picks left.
Wrap her up here. I thought one of these you wouldn't have much to say about, but you sure like to ramble on, don't you, Hammer?
Well, you're right about this next one.
Oh, okay, perfect. That's what I've been waiting for. Finally. No, okay, so for our second to last pick here, 5th round from a pick that we got from the Steelers, 168th overall, Central Missouri tight end, Zach Davidson. Lots of Zachs at the TE position. Lots of Zachs.
I have no idea who that is.
Well, it's Zach Davidson from
this
Central
was a
Missouri.
name I had never heard of. I mean, I just saw the name on the screen after we drafted him, like tight end from Central Missouri. I was like, oh, okay.
They've done a one-on-one with the Vikings Media Network with all these draft picks. Maybe you should have watched all of these one-on-ones, and then you'd get to know our new players better, Hammer.
Well, I mean,
this is your job, after all, spreading news to the Vikings Nation.
I was looking for any game film I could find of Central Missouri. I couldn't find much. There is I think a minute and a half highlight reel of him on YouTube or something.
Right.
It looked like they had him running the go route quite a bit. Like they were using him as a deep threat from the tight end spot. I mean,
so he's probably pretty quick then.
Yeah, he looked fast.
Cool.
He's super tall guy. He's like 6'7".
Damn.
From what I've read about him, the consensus is that he can't block at all. Really.
So he's got the height of Rudy, but just do pure wide receiver skills, take out the blocking skills.
Yeah. He's an inch taller than Kyle Rudolph, and I think he weighs less too. I mean,
Damn.
Kyle Rudolph was 6'6" and was about 260. I think Zach Davidson was listed at 6'7" and 245, something like that. Yeah, he's going to be more...
He's too tall to be a wide receiver, but that's essentially sounds like that's a skill set.
Well, I don't know if you can be too tall to be a wide receiver, but he... I mean, he's built like... He might be built more like a wide receiver than a tight end.
Okay.
It'd be sort of like a Shannon Sharp sort of deal where he's not really asked to block, and they just kind of have him maybe in the slot here and there. And I mean, can you imagine putting
He'll
Zach
be a threat.
Davidson,
He'll be a threat.
Well, putting Zach Davidson in the slot against some of those, because most slot corners are a little shorter because you got to be quick and be able to change direction quick in the middle of the field. Can you imagine 6'7" Zach Davidson just against like a 5'8"
like
little corner,
like throwing into a mattress? The top of the mattress, actually. If you stood it up on the wall and you just threw to the top of the mattress, it's just like that.
So I mean, aside just from that little bit of knowledge I got from reading about, I don't know anything about him really other than that.
Okay.
I had never heard of him and still don't know a ton about him. So
go watch the one-on-one, fool.
I don't really have an opinion one way or the other, like if it was a reach in the 5th round or if it was a steal or what the deal was. I have no idea where he would have been drafted after that, like by the next team. So I can't speak to, the value of this pick really.
We'll sum it up with this.
Hammer likey.
All right. All right, moving on. 6th, the last pick that we took, 6th round, 199th overall. Pittsburgh player, defensive tackle, Jalen Twyman.
Yep.
Twyman.
Yeah, he was Patrick Jones's teammate at Pittsburgh. He was a defensive tackle. Jalen Twyman, he is a 3-tech.
Okay.
That's one thing he's really good at is shooting his gap. If you need a guy that can penetrate, can shoot his gap, rush the passer from the 3-tech spot, then Jalen Twyman is a good guy to get onto your team to mold and coach up. With Jalen Twyman, he opted out last year. So, you have to go back to the year before to see, how he looked while he was playing.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I noticed from watching some of the Pittsburgh games from over a year ago, I saw the swim move quite a bit.
Oh, I love the swim move.
A-Train loves the swim move.
I do love the swim
move.
move.
Jalen Twyman, I saw him using that a fair amount and beating his guy with it a lot, too.
That was a staple of Jaleel, did I do that, Johnson? But he's now gone, unfortunately. But
so, yeah, I mean, the swim move is back. I mean, Jalen Twyman, I saw a lot of swim moves from him, and it was working a lot of times. So,
but that was at the college level.
That was at the college level.
That was against some college nerds. So
I'm thinking he might need to add a little muscle. I mean, the guy isn't even 300 pounds. I don't think he's like 6'2", 293.
Hammer firing shots at all these players. You know what? When do you walk up to these guys and tell them they need more muscle to their face? How's that, Hammer? Hammer shooting
I am
shots.
not nearly that stupid.
Hammer shooting, firing shots across. Oh, you need to bulk up, young man. Like,
well,
who the fuck are you to tell me I need more muscle?
Of course, we're speaking in relative terms compared to other guys at his position, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway,
you're giving your honest technical analysis. It's not coming from a negative place or
well, no. Well, I'm definitely not
snap judgment place.
I'm definitely not ragging on the guy either.
You need to put on some weight.
He has strengths and weaknesses. I mean, I would say he isn't good against the run, really. I'd be worried about him getting manhandled in the running game. So he's not going to step in and just be a 3-down guy. Well, he wouldn't be starting anyway because we have Dalvin Tomlinson and Michael Pierce. He's going to be competing for some of the situational, like 3rd and long pass rushing, where we maybe take Michael Pierce out for that play and we put Jalen Twyman kind of inside, let him shoot his gap and rush the passer on 3rd and long. So, I mean, he's definitely not a one-tech. If you're looking for a run stuffer, he's not the guy. So, I don't know. That's just who he is. I thought it was a borderline steal getting him in the 6th round.
As our last overall pick.
I mean, if you look at some of the other guys that were taken in that area, I mean, Rick Spielman, after that first trade down in the 1st round, he didn't trade the rest of the draft. And in an interview, he was kind of saying, well, on our draft board, it looked like there was a bit of a drop-off after, like, the 5th round. And, I mean, it was because there were less players that entered the draft this year. I mean, because of COVID, a lot of players opting out. A lot of players decided, I opted out last year. I need to go back and play for a year and get my stock back up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a smaller pool of players to pick from. So Spielman, for all the people that say he loves his 7th round picks way too much, he didn't care about trading down and getting an extra 7th rounder or two. He didn't think it was worth it.
Right.
There was just such a drop off. It just wasn't worth it to take anyone. So he just stayed right where he was at 3rd, 4th round, just player after player after player, pick, take all those guys then where the value was. And
it's cool to see those two Pittsburgh players who have played together, know each other, were on a D-line together in college. Now they're coming in. I mean, obviously they're not going to be starting, side by side now and for the Vikings right away, obviously. But it's cool to see two people, too, that already know each other mesh, have done a lot of communication, things like that.
Spielman has done that before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 5 years ago, he took Mackenzie Alexander in the 2nd round from Clemson. And then in the 7th round, that same draft, he took J-Ron Curse, safety that was... He's done that a little bit here and there, taking...
R.I.P. your career, J-Ron Curse.
Taking teammates and such. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the draft, I saw another Dan Chat post on the Purple Pain forums where Dan Chat kind of typed, gee, it looks like some NFL GMs have given up at this point, because he pointed out that there were 2 long snappers taken in the 6th round. I mean, we got Jalen Twyman in the 6th round. Are you kidding me? I mean, with some of the other guys that were drafted in that area, and we still got Jalen Twyman.
Right.
That was a massive steal, especially in this draft.
Good. I like it, man.
So,
I feel like I feel like I've been more excited about these picks than I have in the last 2-3 years, to be honest.
Well, last year I was super excited also. I mean, I thought the Vikings crushed it last year. And I wouldn't say we had...
I mean, taking, Jefferson and,
and Cam Dantzler in the 3rd round. And I liked Ezra Cleveland. I mean...
Right.
But...
not that it was better players came out of it or anything, but I feel like this was a super solid draft.
Well, I mean, last year I think the draft was deeper, a lot deeper than it was this year, just overall, like the players that were in the draft. I mean, there have been a couple years, like 2015, I thought the Vikings had the best draft in the NFL. And I thought there was a chance of that last year, too. I was like, yeah, we might have had the best draft in the NFL this year.
So how do you judge that? Do you judge
year,
do you judge the most players that come out right away, play and shine for the picks you took instead of being flops or not working out or whatever? How do you judge, this draft, this class of draft or this year's draft?
Well, I'm talking about instant reaction, like right after the draft is done.
So just technically grading in theory and on paper and analytics.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Now this year,
you don't know how players going to turn out though, so I don't know if I like that way of doing it.
I mean, if you're asking me about this year, I thought we had a solid draft.
Yeah.
I don't think we had the best draft in the NFL. That's hard to do when you don't have a second round pick and there are a few things working against you like that. But for where the Vikings were at, I thought Spielman did a pretty damn good job maximizing what he could have done.
Okay. All right.
This year, I say this, it seems like I say this every year, but I really like what the Ravens did.
Why don't you just be a Ravens fan then?
Well, they draft well. I'll put it that way. It seems like every year I look at all the team's draft hauls and I see what the Ravens did and go, God. Last year, I thought the Ravens did a really good job. I think the Ravens might have had the best draft this year also, if I had to pick one team.
Okay.
I don't know. Last year, I thought the Packers and the Patriots were the two worst. This year, I think the worst team was probably the Raiders.
That's not a surprise.
Well, yeah, the brain trust of Mike Mayock and John Gruden. They've reached for Alex Leatherwood in the first round, I thought. They could have had Christian Darasaw, and they took Alex Leatherwood.
They saw something they liked, I guess.
Well, and they drafted, 4 safeties?
It's awesome. You're set for safety, right?
I guess. I mean, the one pick they took, the one pick they took that I liked was that safety from TCU. What was it, Trayvon Mooring, I think his name is. They got him kind of early second round. I thought that was decent value. That was pretty much where I thought he would have gone. But otherwise, that whole draft of the Raiders, top to bottom, looked like it was just reach after reach.
Who knows, man? Who knows? Anyway.
That's just my thoughts.
All right. So any final words on this year's draft then, Hammer, to wrap this up?
Well, we could just go into the undrafted free agents quick here.
I feel like we don't even need to be honest. Most of these names are going to literally be like, okay, so we took a long snapper, we took a linebacker, we took 2 linebackers, a defensive tackle. I mean, people probably aren't even going to know or really care about these names, to be completely honest.
Well, maybe not now, but if one of them pops off, and I mean, because the most notable name out of the undrafted free agents we took, I thought was Shane Zielstra.
Right.
He was a guy I was kind of hoping we'd get the year before, and we didn't get him, but now he's with us this year. He's gonna try out at tight end. I'm super curious to see how he looks. I guess a couple of underrated. I mean, one thing we're not really talking about much is the kicker position, because we don't have Dan Bailey anymore.
Correct.
I mean,
Thank
we're pretty
God.
much
by Dan.
Yeah, we got some unknowns that are. So we signed that Memphis kicker, the Riley Patterson. I'm guessing he's going to be our kicker this year. I think he's going against Greg Joseph.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The Riley Patterson, that Memphis kicker, the undrafted guy, that might be a name to keep an eye on.
Okay.
A lot of the undrafted guys I had never heard of. I heard of Wap Filior.
Wap.
Yeah, the wide receiver from Indiana. Yeah, we brought him in. I heard of him. I don't expect him to make the team. Maybe a practice squad guy. He's kind of small and isn't really fast. He's going to try to be like a backup slot guy.
Okay.
He's a tough player. Like, he's competitive and he plays hard and everything. I just athletically, I don't really see him making the 53, but yeah, maybe he'll surprise. Who knows?
All right.
I guess the one other notable name would be Blake Prole. His dad was Ricky Prole, actually. Ricky Prole was a wide receiver in the NFL for many, many years, and now his son, Blake Prole, he was an East Carolina wide receiver, and
Cool.
yeah, he signed with us.
I love it when it runs in the family. Nothing wrong with that.
It's something you at least got to mention.
Mhm.
Like, hey, this
Kinda
guy's dad that played in the NFL for 15 years, yeah, his kid is with us now.
Nice.
I mean, it was the same thing with Chad Beebe a couple
Mm-hmm.
years ago. So, and he's a name we care about.
I still have hope for Chad. I mean, who knows if he's going to really
I hope he
be a
makes the
top
team.
wide receiver for us and develop. We've already had him for, 4 years, 3 years, 4 years?
Well, he's such a good third down receiver. I
Yeah.
think you can find a spot on a team for such a reliable third down
Yeah.
receiver like that. I mean, first glance, the wide receiver room this year, I'm thinking is probably going to end up looking like, well, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Olabisi Johnson. I'm guessing Chad Beebe might make the team. Amir Smith-Marset. I'm trying to think if I might be blanking on someone.
Oh, you should save your final 53 predictions
Okay,
for the next
okay.
podcast / a blog article, Hammer. Let's tease the people a little bit. You'll have to tune in to hear Hammer collect his thoughts for the final 53.
All right, fair enough.
But yeah, I think that's circling back to the free agent news. I think that's really about it then.
Yeah, a lot of these other names, I mean, most of the other guys in our undrafted free agent list I had never heard of.
If I want to pick one that I like the name, because you know how I like fun and cool names, there's a linebacker named Tough Borland.
Oh, he's not a linebacker. He's... Oh, no, never mind. He is. Yeah,
Kind of
you're right.
like Al Borland from Home Improvement, and his first name is Tough, T-U-F.
Yeah, Tough
he's,
Borland.
He's Tough Borland. I love that fucking name. That name's cool. Kind of funny. It makes me think of other things. Otherwise,
I'm
yeah.
going to have to read up on him because I mean, he played at Ohio State, and I never heard of him.
And they're a big name in college football.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Pete Werner would have been nice to see in a Viking uniform, but he got picked like late in the second round. I think he went to the Saints. Yeah, Pete Werner would have been a good guy for Zimmer to coach up.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I'd heard of Baron Browning. God, did Tough Borland play a lot with Ohio State?
Yeah, you gotta polish up, Hammer.
I mean,
so you
usually
can inform the people.
Well, usually I'm more familiar with the Big Ten teams, and Tough Borland played for Ohio State, and I never heard of him.
All right, well, it's
All
not
right,
a surprise here. All right.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so just some quick key off-season dates here, even though some of these have already passed. Rookie minicamp was May 16th to 14th. OTAs were May 24th to June 26th. May 26th to June 26th. Coming up, it's June 1st to June 3rd, 8th to 11th, 15th to 17th. So plenty of that. Mandatory minicamp starts June 15th, goes to the 17th. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a couple of those YouTube highlights, like
Revving up.
those little 1-minute videos they have.
Just kind of shows our guys going out catching passes, stuff like that.
Yeah, you can't really glean too much from those.
It's just kind of fun to see them playing.
It's just fun to watch.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, I think that about wraps up episode 129 of the Odin's Den Pod Fart, the Pod Cache, the Pod Cart, whatever you want to call it. We have droned on now for roughly 83 minutes. My God.
All right.
My God. I saw that Netflix movie Army of the Dead last night. Very good. Highly recommend it. Very entertaining. Check it out.
Oh, okay.
Very, very entertaining. But yes, I guess any final words in general then until we come back about a month from now in about mid-June.
Yeah, just hoping that we can get a little more info on the team, like after voluntary OTAs, stuff like that. From what I heard, it looks like they're looking at Wyatt Davis as right guard, and they're looking to move Ezra Cleveland to left guard, which makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, shoot, I remember watching the combine the year before last when they had Ezra Cleveland doing the drills, like the kick step and the shuffle drill and everything, and I remember Daniel Jeremiah seeing that and saying, "Oh, that's a left tackle right there," because he was pointing out how in the drills Ezra Cleveland's left foot was a little behind his right foot, like automatically, like he wasn't even thinking of it. His left foot was just naturally behind his right foot because he was so used to playing left tackle at Boise State. And I thought the same thing. Like I noticed the same thing. So I think moving Ezra Cleveland to left guard makes a lot of sense right now.
Cool. Good. Make the needed
I think
changes.
they might do that.
Make the needed changes. For the love of God, get a decent O-line. Holy shit.
That's my last thought. Hammer out.
If we keep our quarterbacks alive, my God, we might be actually to be over fucking 500 this year, huh?
I think so. Well, our defense is a lot better on paper.
True.
And I mean, there's potential for our offensive line to be a lot better. There's a lot to be excited for going into
let's
this
go
season.
from 23rd best O-line or whatever it was to
And
somewhere in the late teens. Hell
Aaron
yeah.
Rodgers might not play for the Packers this year.
Speaking of which,
all positives.
I'd like to hand out one of these. Turd of the week. This month's turd of the week goes to, even though I actually love every second of these news stories, is Aaron Rodgers. I hope he leaves. I hope he holds out. I just like to see anything with the Packers organization crumble to the ground and fall. And I don't want to have to worry about him anymore, deal with him anymore, breaking his collarbones, even though that was kind of fun. You know what I mean. Let's just move on from their shitty fucking dynasty that revolved around one fucking person. They're good quarterbacks for 25 years, and that's about the fuck it. Let's move on, please. Let's go back to leading the NFC North. I don't care if it's a shitty division after he leaves that team. Let's go back to being on top, get back to form. And, goodbye, Aaron Rodgers, and I hope to never see you again. Even though you'll probably go to another NFC fucking team, and we'll see you every however many years anyway.
That felt very planned. I mean, the hours before the draft, and all of a sudden it gets reported that it gets leaked or whatever that Aaron Rodgers told the Packers he not coming back to the team.
It's pretty much been the biggest news story in football off and on since the draft.
It felt very planned. He waited until an hour or two before the draft and then
just let it explode on Twitter.
He was trying to embarrass the Packers.
I love it. I want to embarrass him too. Hell yeah. This is the first time I've been like, go Aaron. Yeah, dude.
I hate the Packers. I hate Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
and a bitter breakup with them is probably about the best thing I can imagine right now.
Right.
So that is my final
Bring
thought.
Mike McCarthy back, send off Rodgers, maybe give him I don't know, Jake Plummer is the quarterback or something, and let's move forward into the NFC North
So
champs.
you're in favor next year of the Packers trading their first-round pick to the Cowboys for head coach Mike McCarthy.
Correct.
I would love it.
I want to see a draft pick for coach trade.
Oh, what Viking fan wouldn't love seeing that?
I
give up your first-round pick for a laughably bad head coach.
I remember being happy that he was gone, kind of like I'm going to be happy when Rodgers is gone, and then you were like, wait, he's bad. We want to keep him. I'm like, now you're thinking with your revenge brain. there.
I wanted Mike McCarthy to be the Packers head coach for 50 years.
Like, keep sucking, please keep sucking. Like, you were looking at it from that standpoint.
He is such a bad head coach.
All right, let's wrap it up. That's just fun
Hammer
to shit
out.
on them and give out the turd of the week. Hammer's out.
Hammer out for a fourth time.
Shut up over there. All right.
Hammer likey.
I hope you enjoyed episode 129. I still got to do all the closing stuff, so just sit back and relax over there. Check us out. Thank you for listening. If you would like to rate and review and subscribe, of course, that would be great. We do have a YouTube channel. Listen on any major platforms. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and, of course, odinsdenpodcast.com. Don't forget about purplepainforms.com and vikingsgazette.com. Have a good rest of your May. Enjoy the nice weather that it's finally fucking here wherever you live. It is getting hot around North Dakota and Minnesota. But, yes, enjoy the rest of your May, and we'll see you about mid-June. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Odin's Den. Be sure to follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. Get all of the latest at odinsdenpodcast.com. SKOL!
Oh, you have to have your first round pick start right away.